I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
I'm Beau Maddox.
This is Collateral Gaming. Welcome to Collateral Gaming, the only video game podcast that matters, where we focus on good games, bad games, and everything else in between in the world of gaming. We are podcasting straight from San Antonio, Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast, so whatever you have, be it blunts, be it bongs, dabs, joints, the works. Smoke it if you've got it. Chilling here in the studio, guys, and we just trekked to our local arcade, Diversion's Game Room, and we've got a very special episode for you guys. Beau, you excited about this episode?
Oh, man, I've been looking forward to this episode for a while because this just takes me back to my childhood, man. Going back to the nickel game room where, like, $10 could pretty much get you an entire night of gaming, and there'd just be all kinds of games, but especially light gun games, and that's what we're doing this episode, right, Ash?
Yep, that's right. Today's episode is focused on light gun shooters in particular. So we may do more arcade game mega reviews, and that's essentially what this is. We're going to go over several different arcade games. In this case, our topic is light gun games. Are you excited about that, Dakota?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a lot of fun at the arcade. We spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, it was kind of like a blast into the past, and the prices were affordable. So shout out to Diversion's Game Room on San Pedro. I mean, that was an awesome place. Like I said, the prices were affordable. The games were awesome. Lots of retro arcade machines and plenty of light gun games for us to go out there. We played pretty much every single one that was there.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Like everything.
And then some. We even, Beau tried out some of those action games like fighters, and Dakota was trying his luck at those rigged machines that like offer prizes.
I think that the odds are with the house on that one.
I believe so, but it is worth a try.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. In particular, we, like I said, we did the light gun games. Anything that had a gun attached with a cable was fair grounds here. We started off with a classic, which was Carnival.
Oh, man, Carnival just takes me back to going, again, the nickel game room and also to the movie theater. I mean, and it's such a fun game because it's almost like a parody of survival horror games a little bit. Like, I mean, and it also has that carnival theme park vibe to it.
Yeah, it does. It was released by Midway Games, and it is, in fact, their most successful light gun style game.
Really?
It's a rail shooter like most of these, and it doesn't take a lot of imagination to figure out what Carn-evil means.
Oh, man, it has that aesthetic similar to its soundtrack, which had a lot of Rob Zombie on it. So, I mean, it kind of comes from that aesthetic. You have a lot of horror elements, but also a lot of kitschy, kind of Americana-style imagery as well. Like, for instance, the actual carnival part with the concessions and everything. They had a bunch of concessions boys and a bunch of... They had, like, a bunch of attendants to the bumper car section, but they're all, like, evil and distorted, but they're still all goofy and weird-looking.
Yeah.
And then they had the freak show, which had, like, those Siamese twin dudes, which were just, like, like, have this goofy-sounding voice.
I remember you showed me the whole game playthrough on your phone.
Yeah.
Prior to us going to the arcade, and it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it has a boss on there. I think it's like the second level, and it's actually a ginormous mutated baby.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's so fucking crazy. You're pretty much in his play area, and you're going on a little model train or whatever, and you're trying to shoot this goddamn ginormous baby. But what's funny,
So fucked up.
what's funny about that is there's actually a switch in the arcade cabinet in the hardware where it will switch it to a ginormous teddy bear.
Yeah, and it can actually tone down the amount of blood and gore.
Yeah, but that's no fucking fun. You have to play this game completely uncensored.
Yeah, honestly, you do.
When the moon is full and trees are bare, walk through the cemetery if you dare, where skeletons rot and corpses fester. Locate the tomb with the skull of a jester. Feed him the token all shiny and new. It is then that Carnival will return for you.
Spooky Sam, welcoming you along on Spooky Sam's Ghost Tour. On your left, you'll see the tomb of Ludwig von Token Taker, where the legend of Greeley Valley all got started. You all know the legend of Greeley Valley.
I really like the pump action shotgun too. That was really cool to most of the games you just shoot off screen to reload, and you can do that in this one. But
My only complaint with that is that it can get a little tiring after a while. I mean, especially when you're used to more traditional like games where you just fire off screen. Which you can still do that, and sometimes if you want to do that, I mean that's fine, but it does kind of feel a little weird with the shotgun. I mean, it does make you want to do the pump action.
Yeah.
And that was the same problem with another video game from back in the day called Crypt Killer. I mean, it was kind of similar to that, except without the theme park vibe, and it had the little pump action shotguns. And I mean, it would have made more sense for them to do it like the Big Buck game, have like a full size shotgun, but it's like these tiny little sawed-off shotguns, and I don't know, it can get a little uncomfortable after a while. Like I actually found my trigger finger getting a little tired after a little bit of squeezing that shit.
Pussy.
Oh, come on. Now.
I'm just kidding. No, Dakota and I are definitely very comfortable with shotguns, right? That's our preferred style of
Absolutely. Insta kill. Close up, close range, insta kill. That's how we feel. That's how we like to play.
The only thing I think we like more is sniper rifles.
Snipers, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't play any sniper games, did we? That would have been fun.
Well, they didn't have the preeminent sniper game series, which is Silent Scope, which is an awesome shooting game where you have the main game screen. It's all very distant, like you're from a very far away. And you have the peripheral, which it looks like a sniper rifle, and it has a little screen in the scope, and you can actually use that like a sniper rifle. You could target people and you shoot them.
That's pretty cool. I mean, we didn't play one with a sniper rifle, but we did play one with a crossbow. We did the Walking Dead one.
We did. The Walking Dead was a lot of fun.
That one, I gotta say, if there's anything about hard controls, that one was more difficult than the other one because you kind of had to pull back the crossbow.
Yeah, and you had to be a little bit more precise with it. I noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed that it's also a little bit of a slower firing rate
It's slower
as well.
firing, and it's more of it's headshots only.
Oh,
That's the
I
only way
see.
to kill the zombies. So you have to get headshots. There is a little bit of magnetism to it. Obviously, I mean you can't be 100% accurate.
Yeah, but it's cool that they introduced that element to where only the headshots will really
Right.
kill them. I mean that's more realistic to the universe of The Walking Dead and to zombie lore in general, and it also makes for an actual you need to have some real skill to play that.
That's
Right.
actually how I play though in these games, and I found that I had the most luck when I stopped firing a bunch and when I just did quick shots to the head.
Almost kind of like a double tap,
Yeah, it was a lot easier for me just to get the heads, and I found that I was a lot more accurate with this than I was with a controller. I really did enjoy playing all of these games with the physical, gun. So I definitely don't know why I didn't play as many light gun games until now. I mean, I feel like I kind of missed out. I mean, obviously, I've always tried them, when I went to the arcade, but...
Well, a big reason for that is kind of the decline in actual arcades, which in recent times, you're starting to see the rise of the barcade, which is literally what it sounds like. It's a bar that has mostly arcade games and everything, and also, pool and all the traditional stuff, but it's mainly an arcade that sells drinks. And a lot of them, I mean, they have tons of light gun games, and especially back in the day, those were the best-selling games in the arcade next to, like, the fighting games or some of the racing games, especially.
But The Walking Dead, I think, was really interesting because it was mostly based off of the AMC TV series more so than, the comics or the game series.
Right.
And
it was clearly AMC's The Walking Dead on the
it
marquee.
was. I'm not as familiar enough with the show to know if like the characters we played as were necessarily main characters in the show. Dakota.
Yeah, I don't know either. I didn't really pay attention to the story that much, and I don't think they were.
I don't think you paid attention to any of the stories in these ones.
Really, no, you don't. But on this one, it was a lot different than the first one we talked about because the first one we talked about was a standing up one. This one was you sat down in a little booth area.
Yeah, we played a few of those.
Yeah, and there's a few of those like that. So it's a different feel because you're kind of in an enclosed area with surround sound.
I wish we could have played the Star Trek one, the one that has the Borg.
Yeah, I've seen that at movie theaters before, and that looks really fucking cool.
I love Star Trek.
You have straight up phasers, and it's fucking awesome.
Are they set to stun or set to kill?
Yeah, something like, or you can actually set your phasers to stun and kill. I think that's
awesome.
Yeah,
it's a cool mechanic. But yeah, the Walking Dead arcade play mechanics and raw thrills, somewhat based on the TV series, but kind of its own thing, I think, mainly. And there were certain parts where you would actually switch, and you would instead of the crossbow, you'd use like a crowbar or something.
Right.
Real quick. I remember that.
There was explosive arrows at one point.
Explosive arrows, yeah, and fire arrows at one point. That was a really cool aspect. Another game we started playing, early on was The House of the Dead, and that's interesting because that's a movie we did last season on Collateral Cinema.
Oh yeah, and if you recall, there was a lot of flashes of gameplay from the original House of the Dead throughout that movie, which is just hilarious and just random and out of left field, but still, it kind of added to the charm of that movie, I think, honestly.
Yeah, and it's really one of the classic. It's one of those. Like Carnival, like one of those light gun shooters that you think of almost immediately.
Oh yeah.
Originally released by Sega in 1996 and 1997, and obviously spawned an entire game series. Obviously a couple of movies we don't necessarily need to talk about, but we love to talk about them anyway.
Yeah, right.
And also, credited with popularizing the idea of a zombie video game.
Exactly. I mean, that and Resident Evil, of course.
And Resident Evil.
I mean, let's give credit where credit is due.
Both of those, yeah.
What's great about House of the Dead, especially the original House of the Dead, was that it upped the difficulty factor a little bit, especially from the previous Sega light gun release, which was Virtua Cop 1 and 2, which had a little bit of a slower pace and had some other interesting little aspects to it, which we'll get into here in a little bit, but with House of the Dead, you actually had to take multiple shots to take down certain enemies. I mean,
you did, even if you were headshotting them. I noticed that. But that is where I kind of started configuring my playstyle and realizing, okay, if I want to, I only have 6 shots before I have to reload. And, so I need to go for the head. And I started doing that. The only problem is this, along with, other games like Carnival, there were also civilians thrown in the mix, which could, which would affect your life. If you shot a civilian by mistake, it would cause you to lose health.
Or in specific games, it causes you to lose time.
Yeah. But you could also, gain some additional points by rescuing the hostages. But I almost never seem to be able to do that.
Well,
I was just like trigger happy. I was like, oh, movement.
Well, that's too bad because a big part of actually going through that game is rescuing the hostages, because not only do they give you life, it also can branch you off to a different game path.
Well, you know what? They shouldn't be running around like that in front of my gun. Okay,
Well,
because
that's
that's
just-
what they're just asking for.
That
okay?
is a.
Did you see the way they were dressed? They were dressed like zombies. All right, with tattered clothing. They were asking for it. All right.
That's a common aspect of these types of games. Is there's always some type of target that you're not supposed to hit that will take points or life off of your game or whatever. But I mean, I think that it adds to the challenge of these types of games, depending on what you're playing.
No, it does. So yeah, I do believe there are 3 different endings.
Yeah.
For the House of the Dead, and one of those seen as the true ending with the highest rank.
I think that I've actually achieved the true ending on that once, because I actually went ahead and just beat the original arcade game one time. It was at a Taco Bell Borderland, and I mean it's interesting because the very final level of the game, you pretty much have to fight all the bosses of the game up to that point, and then the final boss. So, I mean, it's pretty much just a challenge of your skills and also of your memory as to what weak points that you need to utilize to take the bosses down. So,
And this was back when, like, if you died, I mean, yeah, you could insert your coins in to continue, but you had to pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you played, you had to start over from the beginning. So if you didn't, continue, if you didn't have enough coins.
oh yeah, I mean, you want to have at least a good $10 or $20 to beat one of these games in the arcade.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're actually going to go, like, into beating one, yeah.
Help! Everyone's getting killed. Oh, no!
The House of the Dead.
That kind of leads us also into the other House of the Dead game there, which you played, Beau. I didn't get as much experience with that, but the House of the Dead 4.
Well, what's interesting about that one is it has a little more in common with the other type of light gun games that there are. Like, typically you have the light gun games where you have a gun that you grasp, like a shotgun or a handgun that you can use, or like a machine gun. Or in other cases, you have pretty much like a machine gun attached to the cabinet, and you have like a targeting reticle on the screen, which you could use to fire at people or at your targets or whatever.
Okay.
And this was interesting because it was kind of in between. It had a handgun type, but it was more like an Uzi. So
Okay.
it was basically like a submachine gun.
That's interesting.
But the problem with this particular cabinet is that the accuracy of the guns were completely off. They were not calibrated properly. So I was continuously trying to mow down zombies, but like my bullets were actually going to like further left than where I was actually aiming.
Oh dear.
So, I mean, the graphics were great. I mean, it was definitely a step forward for House of the Dead, but to me, like, the issue with the actual gun peripheral just killed it for me.
yeah. And again, that was developed by Sega. And interestingly enough, it's actually an integral of the series.
Yeah.
Between House of the Dead 2 and House of the Dead 3.
But what's interesting to note is the Wii game that was made, which was more of a standalone game made specifically for that console, and it followed more of a grindhouse horror vibe to it.
Really?
Like, yeah, it kind of had the Grindhouse announcer for those types of trailers from back in the day. And it had like some pretty outrageous characters and whatnot. I mean, it was actually pretty interesting. And it had the classic House of the Dead gameplay as well. So I highly recommend checking that out. And even on Wii, there was a release with House of the Dead 2 and 3 that was pretty good. It was like pretty much arcade perfect ports of those games. So.
Yeah. This game also has multiple endings. House of the Dead 4 had 4 different endings depending on your performance during the game. So that's really interesting that the House of the Dead kind of implements that. But I mean, who actually like plays all the way through these and who follows the story?
I did. I played through it. I can't say
Nerd.
I can't say I followed the story, but I played through it.
Nerd.
Now that's actually the original House of the Dead. It got a release on the Sega Saturn, which wasn't that great. The graphics were kind of shitty. I mean, the music was spot on, but the graphics just took a hit in quality.
Really?
It wasn't even close to arcade perfect.
Yeah, well, no, I think these games are best enjoyed, I think, in their original formats. There's just something about that. And, you know, making our way to the arcade was a lot of fun.
There's a ritual involved to it. You know, right, Dakota?
Oh, yeah, there absolutely is. I mean, being there and, you know, getting tokens out of the machine, trading money for actual tokens is just a lot of fun. You know, there's a lot of,
yeah, right.
a lot of good vibes from that.
You even have to use the tokens to get a goddamn soda if you want one.
Yeah, if you want a soda, you use the same tokens. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. I liked how the tokens were directly like 1 quarter per token. So
Yeah.
I mean, most of the games were 50 cents essentially.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
But expect to play through a few times. I mean, we kind of had to gauge and think, okay, how many continues am I going to do on this particular game?
Right.
Yeah, and you have to figure that some of the larger games would be a little more like they'd
They'd be 4 tokens.
4 tokens, but pretty much $1 a play.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it was fun. I mean, we bought like $20 worth. Dakota and I split it. Beau bought.
I got about a good $15 or $20 worth.
15. Yeah. So I mean, and that gave us a lot of fun. We even had some, you know, to spare afterwards, where we just kind of.
Just started dumping them into different machines.
Yeah.
Just to see, just to play real quick. Like I went and played Fatal Fury.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that was part of the experience. I definitely think we'll go back and play some other arcade
But
games.
what other games did we play the other night?
Well, Dakota and I played Halo Fireteam Raven.
Yeah, that was fun.
Which was developed by Raw Thrills, Play Mechanics, and collaborating with 343 Industries.
Interesting.
So that was a lot of fun because Dakota, you grew up with Halo. That was originally those were the original like games you played as a child, right?
Right. Yeah, it had a similar feel. I mean, I understood. You know, I recognized all the characters. You know, all the different types of species of characters. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah. It again had it was again a sitting down and again had the mechanic of switching weapons through the game. So you had the plasma pistol and then the shotgun and like you said, multiple enemy types to try those out on. And you even got like a grenade type weapon with each weapon.
Yeah, you can like throw grenades. I think you have like a set of grenades you can just throw. So
Yeah.
it might as well be like another Halo game. It's just it's motion sensor point and click, kind of very strict. But like they all are. They all have like a strict. You follow through and you don't actually move. The character moves themselves.
And I liked what was basically like the bonus levels in between where you had unlimited ammo and you just shot as much as you could.
Those are a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, you can find a lot of those in various types of games, like Area 51, which is a full motion video game that was about an alien invasion at Area 51. I mean, that had a lot of different little mini games and rooms that you can unlock. I mean, you just had to know what to shoot and when to shoot.
Right.
So, I mean, those types of mini games are really awesome, and they do kind of test your metal a little bit.
Well, a lot of them too have like hidden things that you can shoot, like hidden crates and items, and that will have loot behind them or different power ups, like more ammo.
Well, going back to Area 51, there was a Chronos mode that you can unlock if you shot the first 3 of your team members that came on screen.
Oh wow!
And you pretty much had a stronger weapon, and you had night vision.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're ever playing that game, ladies and gentlemen, when you first start the game, you've got to shoot the first 3 team members, the members of your assault team.
All right, there you go.
and then you unlock it. That's on both the Saturn, PlayStation, and also on the arcade.
But yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, definitely, Fireteam Raven was a lot of fun. The Halo setting and combine that with like the light gun format. Definitely was a good combination.
I've got to ask, how were the actual light gun peripherals on that game?
I felt it was all right. I felt like the hits were pretty accurate.
I mean, did it actually feel like the Master Chief's plasma rifle?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It felt right. It felt like you were playing Halo still.
Wow.
I
awesome.
mean, you kind of had this like that machine gun style gun. So
Right.
Yeah,
You're always
yeah.
gonna
it
have
didn't
an
always
automatic
work,
weapon.
but with what weapon you were doing. But you know,
They're pretty much always going to give you an automatic weapon because it's like kind of impossible not to, unless you're playing like Time Crisis, which
Yeah.
you have like a handgun and you can pop multiple shots off.
Yeah, now Time Crisis, but especially Time Crisis 2, which is
Crisis
considered
2.
the best of the series. That's the one that we played.
That is
that's
what
the one
played.
we played. I like the format of the like the peek and pop shooting where you press on the pad, the foot
Yeah.
pad in order to.
Yeah, in order to pop out and shoot your enemies. And also that's how you reload.
That's how you reload as well.
Yeah, you also go duck back down. But also what was cool about Time Crisis 2 is that was when multiplayer gameplay was actually introduced. And what's interesting is that both players, like even they can do co-op, and they can actually branch off into different areas.
Yeah. I
depending
noticed
on
that.
what
We
you
actually
shoot.
kind of had a little issue where we branched off in areas, and I was in a point where I wasn't doing anything, and Ash was shooting, and I was standing still. Nothing was happening.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know if that was a glitch or not. But then by the next time, he
Or
killed
you
all
reached
the
the end of
enemies.
the level, baby.
Yeah, we had reached the end of the level, and by the time you kill all the enemies in the area, it reset and we fixed everything. But
Yeah.
it was odd.
A lot of those old cabinets can kind of be janky sometimes.
Right.
Like, for instance, the aforementioned problem with the House of the Dead 4 cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did like the linked gameplay with Time Crisis 2.
At Neodyne Industries Ltd, we have successfully completed a global network consisting of 64 satellites. The project is named Starline Network. This is a monumental achievement.
Hey, right?
Starline will unite the world.
I don't think so. The Starline Network is a mere front for a plan to launch a nuclear satellite into space. VSSE has dispatched 2 agents to prevent the launch. Keith Martin, Robert Baxter,
There's some news.
Christy Ryan,
He's still alive.
Wild Dog,
It's almost ready. My dream will soon come true.
Ernesto Diaz, Time Crisis 2.
Your project is going down in flames. They'll be here soon.
And this was developed by Namco.
Yeah, Namco, they actually developed a specific light gun peripheral for that called the Gun Con. And that was that was an arcade specific light gun, and you could also get it for home consoles. Like, it was used on the PlayStation especially.
Yeah.
And another game that utilized the Gun Con was actually, it was almost like a mini game compilation. It was called Point Blank.
Okay.
And what is cool, like, you would have like almost 2 or 3 dozen different types of mini games, and it tested your accuracy, your like memory. It tested like how well you can react and whatnot, your reaction time. I mean, it was a very, very challenging game, and you could almost like never have the same gameplay experience like in different plays.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of light gun games that we're not even really going to get to mention here because there's just so many.
I actually have a little list of other games, and we've already talked about a few of them. From back in the day when I was going to the arcades, there was a game called Revolution X, which is interesting because it was a tie-in game for the band Aerosmith.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
it was cool. it was cool because basically there was like this weird fascist police force that comes in and kidnaps the band, and then you have to pretty much like fight your way through their armed guard, and you have to try to rescue each of the band members.
That's funny.
And also some other hostages, and it's such a weird game. It's full motion video. It's FMV capture and everything. But and it has the attached machine guns. It's machine gun gameplay. And I mean, you could also shoot bombs, which were essentially CDs. You were like fighting with the music or something
Fighting
like that.
with music, that's so good.
But it was a weird game, but it was also a lot of fun.
I believe it.
Yeah, and it's similar to another movie tie-in game which is the Terminator 2 Judgment Day arcade game, which is a classic as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you played the Terminator Salvation arcade game, right, Beau?
Yeah, Terminator Salvation was interesting because the light gun peripheral for that was pretty much like a full assault rifle, and the way that you actually reloaded on that game is you hit the clip into the rifle.
That's
which
really
was
awesome.
really, really awesome, and it had a grenade launcher button as well, and it was a really accurate gun as well. Very accurate game.
Yeah, it's another one developed by Play Mechanics, published by Raw Thrills.
Yeah.
You see a lot of the same names here in some of these.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get a chance to play with this one, but it looked interesting. I like the Terminator series.
It had a lot to shoot on screen, like
Really?
lots of Terminators gunning for you, and it had a mechanic where you could totally tell when a certain Terminator is a threat to you, which cyborg is a threat to you. Like it'll turn red real quick, and that's
a good
like
mechanic.
that's like the first one that you shoot in order to prevent you from losing health.
It's smart. I like that.
Yeah, that was actually really cool, and I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
How did y'all feel about the Pirates of the Caribbean one? I saw y'all playing that one.
It wasn't Pirates of the Caribbean. It was called Dead Storm Pirates.
That was
It
cool.
was like Pirates of the Caribbean. though.
That's
what it was.
That was
supposed to
cool
be.
because I don't know what happened, but somebody put like almost a good $5 or $10 worth of credits. into that.
Yes.
So we pretty much got a free playthrough, like
We got a
good
freebie.
pretty much through a good like 3 or 4 levels of the game.
Another Namco game, pirate themed, and what was interesting about this one was that basically it was just nonstop machine gun shooting. There were no reloading, no ammo. You just continually shot on screen. But the coolest thing was the mechanic where when you linked when you were both shooting at the same target, your shots got more powerful together.
Yeah, that was really cool and very useful, especially against
the bosses where you would shoot their weak points. And so in some places you may be tempted, like in most of these games, I'll cover the right side of the screen, you cover the left. You get a lot of that in Time Crisis, by the way, with like the linked gameplay, covering each other. But in this one, you were encouraged sometimes to shoot at the same target, which would empower your shots using their golden guns. Out of all of these, I thought that Dead Storm Pirates was the goofiest in terms of like the story and the dialogue.
Oh, it was, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, the gameplay was really fast paced.
Right.
There were some enemies that actually pose a real challenge.
Yeah.
And there was a really cool level where you go into a whirlpool and you have to fight the motherfucking Kraken.
The Kraken.
Yeah, and there's certain points where you actually man cannons and you have to like take down ships, and you actually have a steering wheel in the cabinet.
Yes, I was going to mention that, the steering wheel.
Yeah, it's a mechanic where you can use the steering wheel to dodge certain obstacles or dodge ships or whatever.
And Beau sucked at it.
Oh, I was okay at some of it. I was okay at some of it.
There were some parts where you had to just, steer to dodge real quick, like a quick time event. But then there was one part where you actually had to steer your way through. Beau, you sucked balls at that.
Yeah, I kind of destroyed.
You kept running into things.
Yeah. I have no concept of seaworthiness or sailing or anything.
But yeah, Dead Storm Pirates was a lot of fun. Another Namco game. We kind of blew through, these last three. I didn't really get a chance to, kind of wrap up on Time Crisis actually, because I think this kind of ties in because it's produced by the same company here. But Time Crisis 2, I think was, I don't know, one of my favorites because it was kind of it's a classic, and I liked how cooperative it was, how much it, because it was one of the first games to actually do that. And so, Dead Storm Pirates, again, really focused on that cooperative play and introduced some unique elements.
Yeah, did y'all play the Jurassic Park games that they had there?
I didn't, but you did, right?
I played both of them.
Yeah, there was a Jurassic Park 3, and then there was another Jurassic Park game that was like a sit-down game.
Yeah, I played the Jurassic Park 3 game, and that had an interesting evasion mechanic, which was actually really, really useful when it came to fighting, especially the larger boss battle dinosaurs. Like they would just rush at you, and you had to kind of evade left or evade right.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't nearly as intuitive though. It's not like it had the floor pedal like what Time Crisis had. It had two buttons on each side of the cabinet.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. That's interesting. The pedal in Time Crisis 2 was a really cool mechanic because it was your like you said, you're evading and you're avoiding, and it was also your reloading.
Yeah, you're reloading. Yeah,
because of that, you really got into it because you were using your hands and your feet. So it was always a little exhausting because, you're using your feet, you're using your hands, you're shooting, you're kind of moving a lot. So you're kind of there with it, like you're leaning into it,
Yeah.
And so there's a lot more of that feel like you're in the game. You're playing the game. You really are.
Yeah.
This one was developed by Konami. Like you said, the left and right evasion maneuver. I mean, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah. And there was also a light gun game. It was a cop game where it had a mechanic where it had motion sensors and you could actually lean down to evade certain shots and everything. Basically, it's like Time Crisis, but taken to its logical extreme to where you're actually moving and dodging.
That's cool. Wow. That is really interesting. What do you think about the other Jurassic Park game, the sit-down one?
It was far more of a run-and-gun, machine gun style game than the actual straight light gun shooting of the Jurassic Park 3, but it was actually a lot closer to the pirate game in that respect.
And I heard that has a moving seat.
I didn't experience the moving seat that much.
No,
I mean maybe that particular cabinet didn't have that feature. Maybe that's like something that's a little more expensive. It's more of an upgrade for like arcade owners. So I mean, I didn't experience that there, but there was it had a great sound system in there. I mean, whenever you had certain guns, you could hear that boom, 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 and like it really, really sounded awesome.
Oh yeah,
you know what?
As soon as Ash and I entered the Halo one, the sound was incredibly loud, and the surround sound was crazy. It really, really heard it and felt it. We thought it was like everybody was going to hear it, but it really wasn't that loud once you step out of it.
You know what? I actually mistook this. There was a rail shooter arcade game, Jurassic Park, which was which had the moving seats. But the one actually that you played was Jurassic Park Arcade in 2015, developed by Raw Thrills.
Yeah.
And that one's actually based on the first 3 films of the franchise.
Oh, I see.
So
it was a chaotic game. Like there was lots of pterodactyls just flying at you and flinging people out of the fucking helicopters and shit. It's like, oh my god, like, it was fucking crazy.
A lot of chaos.
That does sound like a lot of fun though, with all that chaos.
Yeah, but talking about light gun games, there's a couple of other games I wanted to actually bring up.
Okay.
One was a couple of Konami games called Lethal Enforcer 1 and 2, which was pretty interesting. It's like that was first on the Super Nintendo, and it was also in the arcade. Like the first one, it was more like a cop game. You're like shooting bank robbers and terrorists and whatnot. And the second one had a Wild West angle to it. Like you were shooting gunslingers and whatnot.
Wow.
That sounds like fun. I would love to play like a Wild West light gun game.
It's actually really, really fucking cool. Like if you have like a emulator, like either a MAME or maybe a Super Nintendo emulator, I actually highly recommend getting it and checking it out. Like it's really a lot of fun.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and there was a series of light gun games that had very much full motion video. It almost looked like straight video. It was called Mad Dog McCready.
Did it work?
It did work.
Or
yeah.
was it as bad as like,
no,
Zelda's Adventure?
No, it worked. It worked perfectly. Like, I mean, the arcade cabinets, I mean, it was like fluid and it was very responsive as well.
You know what I'm waiting for? We mentioned Wild West, the Red Dead light gun game. That would be fun.
There you go. That does sound fun.
A Red Dead arcade game.
You're in one of the sit down cabinets, like Beau said, and you're on a horse.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be cool. And you actually have like your gun is actually like a pistol, like a revolver.
Yeah. You can actually you can reload it by
rolling it.
We're doing the motion, but you guys can't see that.
Yeah, Red Dead is cool, but that actually has some precedent because they actually made a Silent Hill light gun game.
Oh, that does sound fun because I love the Silent Hill franchise.
Yeah, and also I think it was either on Wii or PS2, there was a Resident Evil light gun rail shooter that was released.
I've seen that one before.
Yeah.
I've seen that at a movie theater before, I think.
You actually play through like the first game, the second game, and the third game.
Really?
Yeah.
That is cool.
Maybe Code Veronica. I don't know. Maybe I don't think that they would go that deep into it. But
this was really like your episode. Like
in many ways, and like I said, it's because these are games that have been with me forever. Like even going back to the Nintendo and playing goddamn Duck Hunt.
Oh yeah, Duck Hunt. How do you feel about that game as a vegan, Beau?
I don't know. I mean, the skeet shooting is pretty okay.
Didn't you play that like Safari one?
The Safari one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the big buck game Safari or whatever.
Did you end up playing that one?
No, I didn't, but I have played that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last one that I guess I have on my list here is another one that you played, Beau, which was the Aliens one, Aliens Extermination.
Yeah, that was actually a lot of fun because you have aliens coming at you from all angles.
All angles, left and right, yeah.
Yeah, from the ceiling, from the walls, from the floor, like everywhere.
That was developed by Global VR, 2008.
Yeah.
And that's set after Alien 3. Or I should
really?
say Alien Cubed. Because that's the way that it's written.
Yeah.
Alien Cubed. Alien Cube.
But yeah, that definitely sounds very chaotic as well, right? With all the... A lot of these games are.
Well, it's not even the first Alien game, light gun game that's been released in arcades. There was there was an even earlier one that was pretty cool as well, and that followed more like the first two games or the first two movies, I should say.
Well, the first movie was just one alien.
Yeah, and then the second movie was an army of aliens.
So that would be really interesting to just have like one alien. Well, they kind of toyed around with that, I think, with Alien Isolation, the video game, right?
A little bit.
Isn't that also like one alien?
I think so, yeah.
It's just kind of like predating you the whole game.
Pretty much.
Is that the right word? Predating? Like being a predator?
Yeah, that's the right word.
But yeah, no, I wish I'd gotten a chance to play some of these, but Dakota and I kept putting our coins in at some of the the games that we were in the middle of.
Oh yeah. We kept continuing because they were a lot of fun. I mean, we multiple times we would continue playing. Like Time Crisis, we spent forever on that one.
Yeah, I actually put a lot of quarters into Carnival mainly.
Yeah.
And also the Jurassic Park 3 game was that was a lot of fun. So, I mean, I continuously played that.
Yeah, there were some that we kind of just, okay, we'll get through this. And then there were some where we kept putting coins in because we were having a lot of fun with it. Some of them were more expensive than others, but...
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, overall, I mean, I had a blast with this. I mean, it was a lot of fun playing each of these. Like I said, I hadn't really been exposed as much to. I mean, we've all played arcade games. We've all played light gun games, but it was fun to just kind of focus on that, play one after the other, compare and contrast, the controls with each. And I've never really been really like great at shooters, but I really felt like the hands-on experience, made it a lot easier.
Definitely, yeah.
Kind of makes me wish there were more shooter games on the Wii.
I know, yes. They should have utilized that motion sensor more.
They had a few.
Metroid Prime trilogy in particular actually was fantastic. Originally that was on GameCube, but they released 3 on the Wii, and then they re-released the trilogy on Wii.
Could you imagine a Metroid Prime light gun game?
That would be awesome. And Nintendo has done arcade games before, with the Mario Kart series.
Oh yeah, they could totally do that.
But yeah, no, it was a blast going over to the arcade. Definitely gonna have to do another arcade game mega review.
I think that the next genre should be just straight up fighting games.
Fighting games, I think so. That's pretty much in our future because that's like the second most prolific one.
Yeah, definitely. Then after that, maybe racing games.
Racing games.
I was thinking that too. Racing games.
Yeah.
Well, dancing games too. Like, was it Dance Dance Revolution? Is that the name of it?
Of course.
Dancing / singing. Or just
or
like
other music games like Guitar
Hero.
Yeah. Guitar Hero Arcade. They had a machine there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your final thoughts on the arcade games that we played together? The light gun shooters.
Light gun shooters were a lot of fun. I would definitely go back. I think we need to. I think we all should go back as a group again because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I want to practice some more in some because I want to actually beat them. That's what I feel like we didn't get enough chance to actually really put our time and money into it so we could play and beat these because they'd be a lot more fun if we could finish the whole game,
Yeah, definitely. And I really, really wish that they had a lot of more old school games, like I said, Lethal Enforcers or, fucking Area 51 or Maximum Force or something like that.
I agree. I think that would be cool. But I think what was available was really fun, and we'll be heading back to that venue. I really enjoyed the experience. I really enjoyed the vibes, the feel of that particular location. What did you think, Beau?
It totally was exactly as I remember it back in the day, man. Like all the different posters on the wall, like the fucking 5 different Pac-Man Galaga games on the wall.
Yeah,
the air hockey, the fucking the basketball game. I'm actually kind of sad I didn't get to play the basketball game. Although I always love playing those games whenever I go to an arcade.
Yeah, I do too. We'll get a shot at doing that. What did you think about the light gun games today, Beau?
They were all so much fun.
I say today. We didn't do. Those was 2 days ago, but
yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, those are my favorite games because of how hands-on they are.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually have a physical piece of the game that you're playing.
Definitely a more immersive experience, would you say?
And there's some light gun games that are even more immersive than others. Like Namco even made one that was pretty much like an entire like booth that you walk into, and there's like a ginormous screen and everything.
That sounds pretty badass.
Yeah, it actually is. Yeah, I mean I forget what it's called, but like it was a pretty immersive experience.
You find a way to kind of bring that home.
Oh, and I'm going to bring up one more game because I was talking about it with one of our coworkers at our grocery store that we work at.
Used to work at.
Yeah, there's actually this physical light gun game that it isn't an actual video game. It's like physical targets and everything. It's called Quick and Crash.
Okay.
Like you have a couple. It was made by Midway. You have a couple of physical targets, and it's basically a speed shooting game. Like it's how quickly can you shoot and how accurate can you shoot. Like at first it's like very, very simple. It's just a quick shot. First round, the next round you're shooting movie targets. And then at the very end of the game they have this little cup projection and you shoot it and it actually sends all these pieces of broken cups glass up into the booth and it brings it all back down. But every play, like, I mean, you'll get a fresh cup to, like, it was basically like a little trick within the cabinet to make it look like you were busting up a coffee cup.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, there were a lot of games like that as well. I mean, these types of games, they go back far, honestly. I mean, these types of shooting gallery games, I mean, they go back a ways.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to get, I don't know necessarily if we'll get a light gun game. It would be fun, but definitely want to get an arcade, machine in here at some point in the studio.
Yeah.
Kind of a decoration thing. Speaking of, I guess the future, we were expecting to release our Death Stranding episode this month, but for scheduling purposes, putting out this episode to celebrate our anniversary and some other things, also, giving me some more time to play the game, we've decided to push Death Stranding to next month. Sometime within January, we'll be releasing that. That leaves us to our next episode, our Christmas gift to you. This Christmas, Collateral Gamers, we're giving you the gift of Tell Me Wiseau. That's right, another indie game review, and this time we're doing The Room Tribute.
Oh, man. We have to get Robert here for that.
it's going to have to be a Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming like collaboration special.
Yeah, it does. That has to be.
Because really that's just special, near and dear to all of us. If you follow Collateral Cinema, you know how much we love the room. Even if you listen to Collateral Gaming, you know how many references we make. So we're super excited about that. So sorry that we've been keeping it a secret for so long, but as you all know, I cannot talk about that. It's confidential.
Anyway, how's your sex life?
Our sex life is going to be great after coming to the room.
Oh, yeah.
That's like our own like masturbation life. I consider that a sex life. We're just going to be like, we're going to be playing this together and we're going to be jacking off the whole time.
God damn it.
That's kind of the point. But yeah, that is our gift to you. So our next episode is the Room Tribute, and then Death Stranding. So as promised, with some more time to play, I'll be able to, talk about it more, which is going to be good. Super excited about that. Happy holidays to everyone out there.
Yes.
Beau, you want to plug your shit?
Yep. We have.
No, we don't need to listen to Beau. Just go ahead and close out.
This motherfucker.
Yep, that's all the time we have for today.
Well, Collateral Cinema is going to have our Christmas episode as well, and we are talking about How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 2000 Jim Carrey, Ron Howard movie.
Uh-huh.
And we are going to be Skyping in, I believe his name is Captain Nostalgic. I believe that he's the main person on the podcast. He's from Victims and Villains. And I highly recommend you check them out. They do good things. And we're looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I love the performance by Jim Carrey in this movie. It's enough that I'm still hesitant to watch the Benedict Cumberbatch one, even though I love Benedict Cumberbatch, just because Jim Carrey's performance, I don't know if we can top that.
Yeah, and it is arguably the best of the Dr. Seuss adaptations.
Oh, yes. Way better than Cat in the Hat.
The Cat in the Hat's horrendous.
Oh, dude.
It has kind of a cult following.
Right.
We'll do that movie because I have some interesting stories about that movie.
Some interesting stories. But yeah, guys, super excited about the holiday season. Whether you celebrate it or not, definitely check out our episodes because we're excited to share the holiday spirit with you, and or just our love of certain movies and games. You can expect more from Collateral Gaming in the next year. Definitely want to get push forward. I know I say this every episode, but we're still working on those commentaries, our Let's Play commentaries. Dakota and I plan to now that Dakota's finished Death Stranding, definitely I think we're gonna have some more time to just kind of work on that together. Finish up the rest of our commentaries, get them out for you guys, and give you some Patreon content to look forward to. We've got an entire schedule planned out for season 2, and we're super excited about it. We've been kind of staying on schedule, and I'm really happy about it. We've been producing something so far every 2 weeks, which is really good for us. Definitely want to keep that up. At the very least, we're having our monthly numbered episodes, our bi-weekly other episodes or content that we're hoping to release. But hopefully, kind of after Christmas, we'll take a little bit of a break and kind of regather ourselves.
Yeah, Collateral Cinema is probably going to take a little break after the Christmas episode. You'll probably hear from us in next month as well.
Yeah, so we'll take a break. We're operating on basically the same schedule as Collateral Cinema. So a week after you release your episode, we'll release ours. We'll have more information about that soon. But I guess that's it, guys. We've had a lot to talk about. I'm happy with this episode. I'm glad Beau really got a chance to kind of shine here. And
yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed talking about this topic, and I'm looking forward to other retro game reviews and arcade game reviews. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll include you in on that. We'll remember that in the future. But yeah, you can find Collateral Gaming and Collateral Cinema on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you get your podcasts. Whatever platform you're listening on right now, you can listen to our other episodes and all future episodes. We're also on Chill Lover Radio. So glad to be a part of that, as always. You can find us on social media, both podcasts, all of our co-hosts. That's Ashley Chancellor, Dakota Chancellor, Beau Maddox, and our dearly departed Robert Oregon. Just kidding. He's still a part of the team. He's just busy. But
God rest his soul.
we should have him back on the next Collateral Cinema episode.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Robert.
We wanted him actually to be a part of the arcade experience, because I kind of felt like it was something we should do together. But somebody made plans with Robert on his own, and then somebody else joined them and left me completely out of it. I made plans, and then y'all all decided to hang out without me.
You know, I mean, lucky there's a Family Guy. That's what you are, man.
Goodness.
I mean, you're Family Guy. You can't go out to hang out with the boys.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
But
definitely.
then again, in a Family Guy, that's all that Peter does is hang out with the boys.
Hang out with the boys.
They hang out with the boys.
Being a dad is an incredible experience, but
Yeah.
you know, it is a life-changing moment. You know, it is hard to kind of have time to do all the things that you want to do, but hopefully you provide that experience, you know, for your kid, or you know, I will. Anyway, we're going off on tangents here. I guess, you know, we may as well wrap it up like I didn't when I had a kid. Wrap it up. Do you get it, guys? That's funny.
Womp womp womp.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, it is true, but never mind. That being said, I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
And I helped.
You know you did not. You were no help.
I'm Beau Maddox.
We are Collateral Gaming. We are out.
Out.
Collateral Gaming is an L Company production. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators, are used for educational purposes only, and are fair use. Please don't sue us. We're poor.
Boy,